Good evening and welcome to another episode of Que-stead-Que. What you gonna do? I don't know, but something's gonna grow. Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Que-stead-Que. Well, I forgot some things on yesterday, so this is Prepping While Poor 101 Part 2. It's not that much, so this video will not be nearly as long as the last one. I promise to just keep it moving, okay? Because yesterday it got a little long, lengthy, and I didn't want that video to be no longer than 20 minutes at the most, and it turned out to be twice that long, so my apologies. Welcome to the new members, and I also want to mention that Homestead Heart, Mr. and Mrs. H, she and her husband, well, her husband actually, but she's on the channel too. He started a channel a while ago called Survival Mode, and he kind of fell off, but he has recently started posting again. And so he posted last week a nice video, but today they posted a video called "What Would You Do If You Had Only 72 Hours to Prepare If Something Were to Happen?" I would suggest that anyone go to watch that video if you haven't already. If you're not subscribed to their channel, that channel is called Survival Mode. That's the name of the channel. And you will see Mr. and Mrs. H in the photo. So you'll know that that's their channel because there's a lot of survival mode type channels out there. But theirs come up because there's quite a few subscribers. So they're not way down at the bottom of the page. Also, don't forget their channel or her channel where both of them appear, which is called Homestead Heart. And that is her homesteading and gardening channel and everything. So I mentioned them on yesterday, but I'm mentioning again. There's also one channel that I forgot to mention here on yesterday, and I still may be forgetting a few, but I forgot to mention Urban Container Gardener. He has a great channel. He grows in containers and garden beds. I haven't seen anything in the ground, and his channel is wonderful. And his location, I'm not certain to where he's at, but he's currently planting his fall garden. And from the looks of it, since he's still in shorts, I would think that where he is a warm, I think 9A if I'm not mistaken, but he's in a warmer climate. So if you want to still see the gardening stuff and live vicariously through some of these gardeners that live in the southern states, I would suggest that you go to visit their channels. Okay, and before I get started too, y'all know I'm working on my heirloom tablecloth. And so I've gotten a little further. I am now on I'm going to row 18. I'm working on row 17. So this is how it's coming out. Like I said, it's a formula. It's not a pattern. It's a formula that you follow. And all it is that you decrease in one and increase in the other. And then it gives this beautiful design that you're starting to see. And as it gets bigger, the design will grow as well. It's beautiful once it's complete. So I'm glad I was able to grasp the concept of that from my pattern. In fact, not pattern, but from the tutorial. I'm not even watching the tutorial now because once I grasped the concept, I just cut him off and I got to work. And I'm getting through a little faster. Okay, now, since I've wasted 3 minutes and 44 seconds here, okay, it's a few things that I forgot to mention on yesterday, and it's nothing that will overwhelm you. It's just part of it. So, let it fall where it may. If it doesn't apply or whatever, then that's okay. But the one thing I forgot to mention about in the skills category is learning how to can. Now, I'm gonna be honest, and it is Homestead Heart that got me going with the canning because she talked about how important it is, and it is important, and I learned how to do it. In fact, last year I canned some preserves, I canned some pickles. I did that, but I did not like it at all. For one, I wasn't feeling the best because I was heading into that MS attack and didn't know it at the time, and so my back was hurting. It was a nightmare, but I did it. So now I know how to do it. And my fear is I'll never water bath can. I can tell you that. I mean, not water bath. I'll never pressure can. But I have 3 water bath canners. I bought a new one. And then I found some at Value World for like $1. So I got them. So I have 4 canners total, and they're all water bath canners. And I bought the ball book, and I bought the canning supply kit, and I have my mason jars. I have a zillion of those because I like vintage mason jars. And I bought, some new mason jars as well. So I have a closet full. Y'all seen the mason jars. But if I ever had to can, I would. Okay, and now I know that I got the concept, but my biggest fear is botulism, y'all. Cause see, I know I'm doing it right. You get the seal, you hear the pop and all that, but still, it's still scary to me. And some people just don't get past that. And I'm one of those ones. I'm just scared of canning. So, it is what it is. So it's just something that I don't do, but I know how to do it. I did get the skill. I have the supplies. And if I ever had to do it, I would. Okay, so we'll leave that at that. But if you know how to can, or if you're interested in learning, there are many tutorials. Homestead Hearts channel is one of the best as far as learning how to can. Appalachia's Homestead, she's another one. And there's a few others out there. Just pull up canning on YouTube University, and you will find all types of videos. People do it differently. I like to follow it by the book. And Appalachia and Homestead Heart, they both go by the book. So that's the reason why I use their tutorials as a guide for myself while learning how to do it, because I knew they went by the book. Okay, the second thing I forgot to mention were animals. A lot of homesteaders have animals or a meat bird or something like that. Some people have chickens. I could have chickens here in Michigan. In fact, my nephew told me he was going to get me a chicken coop and some chickens because he felt that there was an area in my yard in the back that would benefit from a chicken coop. He told me that this past summer. And so I told him, well, maybe, maybe not, but I'm not really interested in chickens because trekking out there in the winter, caring for them, and I would feel horrible if I lost one, that type of thing. And I don't know how to process a chicken. I would do it for the eggs. But then what do you do once the chicken, gets too big? It's just so much involved in that. So my meat of choice is fish, because I've told you all a million times that I live right by 3 lakes, and there's lakes within a mile from me all over. We're the Great Lakes state. This is Michigan. So there's water everywhere. So I fish. And speaking of fishing, I had to supplement. Today and tomorrow were supposed to be my last 2 days of fishing for the season, which is normally my last days. And I stock up for the winter. I usually stock up from September until the end of October. Every now and then I'll fish into November if the Indian summer comes late. And it's still May, but today was 76 degrees, if not higher, and tomorrow's supposed to be the same, but it was too windy for fish. And then we've had the cold weather right before that. We had a cold front, and that may have caused the fish to go out to sea, or I call it out to sea, but to the middle of the lake, too far unless you're in a boat to catch any, because that's where they go for the winter. And so when people ice fish at the spot where I like to fish, they just walk out, a few feet past the weed line, and they catch fish all day long during the winter. And then the island where I like to go to, the water opened up back in February, so I was fishing in February. So my fingers are crossed that those waters open up in February again and thaw out. And I will go in February once again and fish. So I have bags in there that I saved from the winter that I didn't even touch. So I have my meat for the winter, some of it, that's how I supplement. But then because I had to end my fishing excursions early, I missed out on the last 2 trips. I went today to a fish market in the city of Detroit. I called and asked if they had any crappie. In fact, I called 3 different places, and all of them did have crappie. One was way far, far. It was like an hour's drive. So, and they were the most expensive, actually. And so I found the cheapest one I found was not far from where I live. It was like a 10-minute drive right past where, in fact, it was before I would get to the farmer's market. So it was like maybe a good 10-minute drive. I went and they were loaded with the crappie. And so I got the size I want. It was the cheapest. I didn't pay much for it at all. And what I didn't do was count my stock. I didn't count what winter stock I already had. I knew I had at least 4 bags, but I wasn't sure. And so because I've been cleaning out that deep freezer and checking that, I went through the deep freezer and I found an extra 2 bags. So now I have 6 bags of bluegill, which is more than enough. I could have stopped fishing weeks ago, okay? And then I have that 2 bags of catfish that I had supplemented with, and I have 2 bags of walleye. So that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And these crappie, I only bought 8 fish, but remember how I clean them? I like to clean them, when I clean them, I split them. I didn't get the ones to fillet. I got the smaller crappies, hand size, so to speak. And so I cut them. When I clean them, I like to cut one side, fillet that, and then the other side I leave the bone in, and then I cut the tail. So for each piece, for each fish, I get 3 nice sized pieces per fish. So 8 times 3 is 24, since I only bought 8 fish. And I told my sister I could have gotten away with buying maybe 4 fish, and that would have gave me 12 pieces. And to supplement the bluegills, which is what they're going to be used for, that would have been plenty. So now we have extra fish, but that's good because Sherry loves crappie. Now me, I like crappie, but I tend to lean more towards the bluegill. And then also my favorite fish is rock bass. That's another panfish, but rock bass usually don't bite except for in the early spring, and they'll bite also in the fall sometimes. So I'll have my rock bass next year, but next year I'm gonna save some. Okay, so once again, I ventured off talking about the fishing. So I have my fish. So that's my extra supplemental meat that I have. Okay, so the other thing I didn't mention when I was saying that things that you cannot buy with EBT or whatever that you would pay cash for, some things that you want to get right off the top. Once you start buying your supplemental things that are not food related, you want to always start with toilet paper and paper towels. When you're getting ready to prep and stock that, start with toilet paper and paper towels, your washing supplies. Then you go on to toiletries like deodorants. Of course, you want to get soap for your body, that type of thing. If you need washcloths, that type of thing. Those are the things you would start off with, and then you go into other things later, such as radios and all that. The next thing on the list would be paper goods like cups, paper plates, paper silverware. Because remember, if we ever have a SHTF, okay. And it stands for stuff hitting the fan, but they use the other word. But if that ever happens, the SHTF ever happens, you may end up without a water supply. So you're going to need utensils because you're not going to be washing dishes. That reminds me. Get yourself a bucket or a portable toilet. You can go to Bass Pro and get a portable toilet for a little of nothing. And it comes with the little bags and stuff. Hey, you might have to use that, or a bucket or something, and know where you can dispose of the waste, okay? If you don't have water, you may have to do that, because your waters at that point is going to be bottled, and you're going to be trying to conserve that for drinking. So for, a portable toilet or a bucket, you can, use the bad water for that, and because you're not going to be drinking that water. Okay, another thing, batteries. That would be at the top of the list too. You want to get batteries, all sizes for whatever you need. Now, a lot of people talk about the solar panels, and I understand that they're cheaper now. Before, I could not afford them, so I took that right off my radar. But I am going to start checking some places such as Menards and see if they have like the basic solar panels, just something that can do something. I'm not looking to get a big solar generator or a solar powered, too much of anything. But, that's something I'm willing to look into, but not right away. That's at the bottom of my priority list because right now, the batteries are something I'll be getting. I also bought a portable radio, and I'm almost done here. I bought a portable radio. I found it at the Goodwill at Value World, which is a Goodwill store. And I think it cost me $5. You guys remember, some of you remember when I bought that radio, And I had always wanted a Grundig radio, but was second to line to a Grundig. But it has the weather, it has the TV, which you can't pick up no more on the radio. But it still picks up the weather. It picks up the worldwide stuff. When I turned it on, it worked, the music. You got AM, FM, the shortwave, the worldwide stuff. So you can hear stations from all over the world on this particular radio that I have. And it takes D batteries. It takes 6 D batteries. So that's one thing I need to stock up on, at least 2 sets of D batteries for that particular radio in case the power goes out. I will at least have that and be able to know what's going on in the world if something were to ever happen. But that's a necessity. Get yourself a radio. You can find smaller shortwave and worldwide radios now. They don't have to be, the one I have is big because it was from the 70s, but it was like new. But, now the newer ones are smaller, and I don't know how much they cost or anything, but that's something I would suggest getting. The other thing that I got that I think everyone needs is a Dutch oven. That would be your outside camping type oven. And what you do to cook on a Dutch oven outside, I bought the kit with it where when you're lifting the top, you have this little handle thing that lifts it for you so you don't burn yourself. And you use charcoal to cook with it. So I bought the 12-inch, but I am going to upgrade to a 14-inch because the 12-inch to me is still kind of small. Even if it's just me, I want something a little bigger. And so anyway, the Dutch oven, you put charcoal at the top, and it tells you, it comes with directions telling you how many charcoal briquettes to use on top. And you can cook anything in there, anything. And so it's like camping, because if the power goes down and you can't use your stove, let's say you want to cook outside, you want to have something to where you can cook outside, a canned good, anything, and you don't want to be grilling. And I got this from Homestead Hart and her husband. They talked about that last week. They were like, you don't want to be firing up no grill because the neighbors are going to smell the smoke. And guess what? They're going to come at you. So no, that's not the time. If something happens, it is not the time to be using the barbecue pit. By no means. You want to use the Dutch oven or something else, but you still need that charcoal. So add that to your preps. Just get some charcoal. When you see it on sale, grab up the 2 for $9 or however they do it. Here they do it every now and then, 2 for $9. So I need to get some more charcoal and some more wood, some hickory. Okay, like I said, shop Goodwill. You would be amazed. I got my canners at Goodwill. What else? I've gotten so many good things at Goodwill that helped with my preps. So go your mason jars. That's where I go to get my mason jars. I do not like the newer mason jars. I like the older ones because they don't bust or break or anything. They're tried and true. Whereas these newer mason jars, they'll bust on you. I do buy my lids and bands. I buy that new. You have to. But the jars themselves, I like the older ones. And you can always find vintage mason jars very cheap at your local Goodwill. Okay, and that's it. Oh, and look for sales. That's it. So that's all I have here on the list. But that's what I forgot on yesterday. So this is part 2. And if I think of anything else, I will come up with the part 3 for you. And also list something, if it's something I didn't mention, list something that you may have gotten that I may not have mentioned. Or it may be something I hadn't even thought of. I'm quite sure I'm missing something. And I'm getting ready to get started again. In fact, I'm working on my list tonight. I'm a shoot for supplies this month because I need washing powder. I need, it's a lot of stuff that I've gone through prep wise. I need to start stocking back on the toilet paper and paper towels again. I'm doing that right away because now the money is freed up because of the EBT. And then as far as my preps, I said I needed the ketchup. I said I needed some cooking oil. And the third thing that I forgot on yesterday was salt. I need salt. And then I'm going to get a few more seasonings to stock up on because I just mixed my seasonings. So that's kind of getting low. And I have some in preps already. And I'm going to write a list of some things that I may need. I'm going to be looking for sales. I missed a sale of sales. My sister went to Kroger yesterday and she called me. She said they have butter, the Kroger brand butter on sale for $2.99. That was cheaper than the whipping cream. So I should have been getting up and going to Kroger on yesterday to get that butter, and they didn't have a limit on it. So my sister stocked up. Me, I was lazy and stayed home. And guess what? The sale ended on yesterday. They knew sale started today. So I missed out on the butter. But like my sister said, oh, it'll go on sale again before the holidays, but it might not be $2.99. But we'll see. You know, I'll wait. And if it goes on sale, I will get that butter. If not, I'll be making my own and then spending more for the whipping cream. But at least it'll be cheaper than buying regular price butter. So like I said, I'm going to make a list. And so this week I will start my preps with getting, toiletries and paper towels and stuff like that because I have closet space now to store all that stuff. So I'm going to start with that because the food, I don't quite have a year's supply. I might have a year's supply. I need to go through them again. I'm talking, I shouldn't even be telling it. But the point is, I have enough to where I feel comfortable right now to where I can concentrate on what I don't have right now. So I'll get that, and then we'll continue with the food and sales and different things like that. Okay, you guys, we're at 21 minutes, and as promised, I want to end this early. But please, thank you for the responses that I got on yesterday. Thank you, and thank you for the new for subscribing. Those of you who are new, I truly appreciate it. And thank you for the kind words. I didn't know how well I had done, but I think I covered, some things, and I think it would be helpful to some people. I was just all over the place like I am now. But anyway, I still thank you, and I appreciate it greatly. And hopefully I've helped someone, and hopefully you all can help me. So let's do this together, you guys, as we enter this twilight zone that's coming up. So, I will talk to you guys later, and may God bless you all. Bye-bye. I'm getting ready to get going with my tablecloth once again. Bye.